Okay, today is September 30, 2016, and we're watching the Western Atlantic water vapor loop. This is Hurricane Matthew right here with 160 mile per hour winds. This is a Category 5 storm moving west currently, and it's forecast to turn to the north. Let's take a look at the hurricane map. We can see the stats here. We have 160 mile per hour winds moving west at 7 miles per hour. We have a central pressure of, I think it's, I don't have the pressure on here. Let's go back and take a look at the pressure here just a sec. Core pressure of 941 millibar right here. Okay, so this is a very dangerous storm, obviously, and it's forecast to move right over Cuba. Now, the other problem right over the United States right now is this huge area of low pressure. This is a surface to 300 millibar low pressure system, and there is a transmitter on top of this system. We can see the right angle right here at the beginning of the loop. Go ahead and stop this and cue it up from the beginning. We can see the relatively straight line. That's a rough edge, but it's still very straight for many, many hundreds of miles. And there's also a little right angle up here at the top. And we can see that envelope fits in there pretty well. Okay, so we do have a transmitter on top of that upper level low trying to separate this moisture field right here from winding into that core. That's the mission. When they put these transmitters on here, they separate the frontal system or the moisture field that's feeding that system. They separate this entire core, and that's what we're seeing. And we have a blockade all the way around so that nothing moving to the east will get into the center of that system. Also, this hurricane, we can see the very edge of that blast pattern right there, which is Hurricane Matthew, and this is going to be moving north. So what's probably going to happen is they're going to move this hurricane out probably into the Atlantic. They're going to steer it using high pressure over on this side, right over in this area, and that will push it over to the right or out to the east. I don't think they're going to allow this storm to move up into near Florida. There's a 4,000 day record currently right now. There's an article on the Drudge Report about it's been 4,000 days since a major hurricane has struck the U.S. So I don't think they're going to break that record by allowing this thing to move in near Florida. So this will be steered away, and I can pretty much guarantee that they will steer this away. We saw what happened last year with Hurricane Joaquin. That was also a Category 5 storm right up in this area, and they pushed that back and forth for a few days. It was forecast to move up north, but instead it changed course. Nobody knew what was going to happen. All the mariners out in the ocean didn't know anything more than what we were hearing on television. And of course, the El Faro ship got caught in that storm because the forecasts were all wrong, and the captain, of course, would have never sailed into a Category 5 hurricane had he known some of this information that we're sharing here these days. But anyhow, nonetheless, regardless of all that, these people can change the direction of this hurricane at any time. We've seen that, and we'll continue to watch with amazement how they manage to make money doing what they're doing without any oversight. Here's the visible light map for Matthew. We can see the photoshopping going on, and we see the core of that system right here. Photoshopping is hiding all of the microwave pinpoint microwave attacks, which generate little craters which expand out radially from the center of the pinpoint attack. So when these storms are targeted with microwave, we get a very large blast pattern. We have a shock wave that moves out. We see a previous blast pattern here. This is several hours old, but this is the kind of pattern that we see. The core is superheated. We have rapidly expanding water vapor, and this is the pattern that it generates. All right, and right in this view here, this is the rainbow map, the IR loop. We can see that it seems like there's actually two centers, two cores of this thing, but that's because they've been hitting it and splitting this core in half. And we can see all that violent activity in there in the core of that, right dead center. All right. And of course, we have this very straight edge here, this upper level low, and they're going to have to deal with this. They'll have to maintain, it'll probably remain stationary until they steer this hurricane away, because we can see that everything tends to move to the east. All the weather moves across to the east. So what'll probably happen is that this will remain over this area for probably 2 or 3 days while they steer this thing out and away, rather than letting this move north and get mixed with this. This would be a disaster. Category 5 hurricane moving north into this area. That's kind of what happens when you get storms like Sandy and these superstorms, where you get two giant storms that merge. This would be that scenario right here, is if these got too close. So I think that they will steer Matthew away. We'll just keep an eye on it. I don't know for sure what they're going to do. They can change their minds. If they want to create a disaster, they will. Here's the infrared loop. We can see all that rotation. That straight edge is not too apparent in this view. All right, let's go take a look at the west coast now for a minute. And we have a storm up here over the Aleutian Islands, 980 millibar. This system is moving to the north. We have another area of low pressure right here, upper level low. This is looks like it's moving south, but there's a huge area of opened up here. There's a transmitter right on top of the jet stream flow, and that is, of course, evaporating all the moisture, so that as this drops down, California will get nothing from that void. There's no moisture in this area. So once again, California is getting robbed and gypped of rain. Okay, now here's the map, surface analysis map, and we can see the storm there moving to the north. We've got high pressure all over the place here, and a couple of lows shown. We've got a trough over California, and we have this low that's pointing to the south generally, and we'll see what they give us. But as far as rain goes, it doesn't look good because of all this high pressure. This transmitter is focusing right on that moisture field that is moving to the east. And we have this developing, this is a disturbance down here with, I believe, a 20% chance of hurricane formation. So we'll keep an eye on all that. Here's the rainbow loop. All right, let's take a look at the pressure maps. We have the United States here. We have that, this is a surface low that we were looking at. It's a huge low pressure system spinning over the Midwest. Right here is the center of that low pressure. Got some low pressure right over here as well, all through this area. The 500 millibar map, we can see that area right there, which is spinning. They've got a transmitter surrounding that. And then we have the 500 millibar map. Got level low pressure right here. We've got a high indicated out over here. And we have this huge trough of low pressure over here, which should drop down and deliver some rain to California. But that's not happening. There's the transmitter right here, just evaporating all that moisture. So there's really no rain in the forecast. Okay, so that's the report. We'll keep an eye on Hurricane Matthew. Obviously, that's a very dangerous storm, and we'll see how these weather controllers perform. If they if they allow that system to create a disaster, or if they steer it away from Cuba and these islands right here, Jamaica, I believe that is Haiti. I think there's one of these in here. All right, so we'll leave it right here. Do another one tomorrow.